What's going on, friends? I've got another Call of Duty Ghosts class setup for you today. Now, one of my favourite loadouts that I did back in Black Ops 2 was the human tank. So I thought I'd try that loadout again in Call of Duty Ghosts because it was so much fun, although as we'll see as part of this video, it is a little controversial. The gameplay I've got to show in the background isn't too spectacular, the score isn't too good at all. I think I end up just about breaking even, but I thought it was quite fitting because it just kind of fit into the theme of this human tank and the way I kind of envisioned it would be used. So you'll see me battling it out with a couple of camping snipers in that watchtower using the various weapons and equipment that I've selected for this human tank class. The main theme for this one is to basically set up a character as an unstoppable force that you can turn to whenever you're being crapped on by those corner campers and IED spammers. So basically what we're going for is maximum firepower as well as maximum protection. So let's get started and take a look at the weapon setup for our human tank class. Needless to say, we're going to have to go with the biggest machine gun possible, so we're already looking at the LMG category. And the one I've picked out is the chainsaw, simply because it looks so badass. Just wielding this thing from the hip and not being able to aim down sights just all adds to the character of this human tank setup. We're going for as much firepower as possible, so the two attachments I've gone for are both the grenade launcher and the armor piercing rounds. The armor piercing rounds is an obvious one just to be able to penetrate cover and take out people hiding behind walls. But I think this is the first time in Call of Duty that we've actually been able to attach a grenade launcher to an LMG. Now usually I'd be totally against this, but in the case of this human tank setup, it's the perfect match. Pairing up that grenade launcher with the chainsaw just makes it look super awesome, and it's great fun being able to switch back and forth between sheer firepower and those explosive rounds. What took me a few seconds to realise is that in Call of Duty Ghosts you no longer have to switch to the grenade launcher using the D-pad. Instead you can fire out those grenades using the little bumper button on the control pad. This is a nice little touch because you can quickly switch back and forth to that grenade launcher without having to take your hand off the controller. So if you find yourself landing a few hits with the chainsaw and then the enemy dips behind some cover, you can quickly follow up with one of those explosive rounds to finish them off. To increase our arsenal even further, we're going to go with the secondary weapon in the form of the Mark 32 launcher. This is another cool new weapon in Call of Duty Ghosts that fires out like pairs of Semtex grenades with each pull of the trigger, with having 6 rounds or 3 shots in its overall capacity. So already we can launch a barrage of attacks using our 2 types of grenade launcher, plus the sheer power of our chainsaw LMG to mow down any infantry. The devs have tried to balance out the grenade launcher in Call of Duty Ghosts by not allowing you to select a lethal grenade. I was going to opt for the smoke grenade like I did in Black Ops 2 to relate to the defensive abilities of tanks these days, where they often deploy a smoke screen. But the main reason I chose the smoke grenade back in Black Ops 2 was because I paired it with a thermal sight. So in this case I've left it blank and instead I'm going to put those points towards extra perks. So let's move on and take a look at the perk setup for the human tank. So first of all, I've gone with a couple of perk selections that will aid our use of that slow and heavy LMG. I'm not going to bother with any of the speed increasing perks because after all we'll want to retain the feeling of that slow moving tank. The LMGs by default are quite slow to recover from sprinting, so a ready up will at least give you a chance if you run into any bad guys by surprise. Because that chainsaw doesn't have an aim down sights ability and it's all about spraying from the hip, we'll go with the steady aim perk to increase our hipfire accuracy to allow us to get those medium to long range shots on target. The blast shield is an obvious perk for a human tank. We want to be able to withstand those explosives, especially those pesky IEDs. And as if the grenade launchers in this setup wasn't controversial enough, we're next going to go with the danger close perk to increase that explosive damage. Now I can already see you having flashbacks to Modern Warfare 2 with the combination of the danger close perk with the grenade launcher, but don't worry, it's not half as powerful in Call of Duty Ghosts, and even with the danger close perk as a 4-point option, the grenade launcher still results in constant hit markers. It is satisfying though when you eventually blow those campers out of their hole with this constant barrage of missiles. So we're going to continue the theme of sheer power and maximum armor when it comes to the killstreak rewards, so we're going to go with the support strike package because after all it is quite hard to rack up a killstreak with this setup. Plus the support package has some perfect options for us to choose. So first up, another way we can maximise our armor is to equip the ballistic vests. This is going to give us enough extra health just to be able to withstand an extra bullet or two. Then this was actually the first time I'd played with the Morse launcher from the support package, and I've got to say this is lots of fun. The Morse looks like your typical rocket launcher, but the difference is you fire out those rockets and you constantly guide them towards your target. So yeah, again, it's more firepower that we can use to take out those campers, and in this game I got a nice cross-map revenge kill of one of those snipers in that watchtower. then this human tank class setup wouldn't be complete without a juggernaut of some kind, and because we're using the support package, that's the Juggernaut Recon, who's equipped with a riot shield and revolver. Performance wise, it's not likely that you'll end up getting many kills with this, but it all adds to the theme and it feels awesome just being able to slowly plod around, absorbing enemy fire and just trying to get close enough to bash those campers over the head. So I definitely recommend setting up one of your soldiers in Call of Duty Ghosts with this human tank loadout and just keeping it in reserve for that one gameplay where you're against those annoying camping snipers. So as always, if you do have some fun with these loadouts or if you just enjoyed my video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up just to help spread the word and share the video with your friends. Those long time subscribers who remember my Black Ops 2 or even Modern Warfare 3 or even way back to the original Black Ops setups, is there any loadouts from those early series that you'd love to see me take a look at again in Call of Duty Ghosts? If you want to see more setups you can play with, don't forget to check out the link in the description to the full playlist where you can see all the episodes that I've posted already. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll catch you all later.